Good afternoon, everybody. Doing a little end of day review here. Pretty fun day, all things considered. I'm going to show you really quickly the pre-market positioning that we kind of drew our plan off of with regards to these zones we had drawn out, or the ranges that we would likely trade in and out of. And my concern coming in on the day was the fact that we were opening up here and that even though the straddle was priced for the top of this range, knowing what we know about the size of that positive gamma kind of concentration, it made the odds of rejection or at least slowing price down very high. So I actually took a short on NQ today, trading for the Grand Cup to see if we could catch that on a little bit more points. I was being greedy for that competition because if you're trading ES, you're just going to get blown out of the water on a single mini. Anyway, very successful trade, obviously. Got all the way down into what we described as probably the floor on the day because of the long positioning down here. So the basis again for getting down into this range was that if we went lower, we were likely to just grind and chop slowly down there, and we would need really strong persistent volatility to do so. As is normal in this market, we did get a big Trump headline out of nowhere that sent price just rocketing back up into the top range on the end of the day. What I thought was interesting was on the midday stream, right around this point when I was getting off and passing the baton to Christian, I mentioned we had the potential to kind of finish in that 20 to 25 area based on a slight shift in the pre-market to intraday positioning after the London close, where this kind of range became a little more dealer long specific, which is where you would expect price to grind and slow down, which is what happened into the close. But it also meant that if you aren't going to finish lower, you generally tend to drift to a balance higher. So if we didn't get that persistent selling, and obviously we had a little shock there in price, we ended up holding over the 7,400 and drifting up and pinning against that strike. So whether you were looking at the intraday positioning like that or the pre-market from this morning, the zones and the ranges on the day from the pre-market plan largely held true. If you're not going any lower, you can take a counter long to try to find a middle to higher balance. And obviously we've traded basically two ranges out of the 4 or 5 on offer today. But really a really strong example of how the positioning reflects kind of the bets in the market being placed and who ultimately has to hedge them and enforce them. So really strong day. Really happy with my trading and execution. I know the stream was a little boring because we just ground around for a while, but hopefully you caught something this morning or maybe in Christian's stream if you caught that long off the low. But whatever you did, hopefully you traded safe. And keep in mind, we've got Ron G tonight, Alan, Jake in the morning, me and Christian in the afternoon again. So stay tuned. If you're in the Discord, check out my pre-market plan for tomorrow, dropping tonight more than likely. See if you can use that during Globex. Otherwise, we'll see you on stream. All right, take care.